are not functioning properly. We surveyed 114 buses and found that 45.79% of the announcements on the buses are not working. So that's basically about half of the time the audible and visual announcements are not working on the buses. In addition to that, there's external route identification, basically where the bus pulls up and says which route number it is. And we found that those announcements were not working 84% of the time. Both of these are ADA violations, which is why we had to give Nice Bus a failing grade. Nice Bus also was rated poorly on the Braille accessibility of several of their bus terminals. We looked at Jamaica Bus Terminal, where Nice Bus operates from Jamaica. We looked at Roosevelt Field Terminal, and we also looked at Nassau Community College terminals, and we rated them for the Braille. We found that none of these bus terminals had any Braille, and in addition, Roosevelt Field in particular is a very dangerous bus terminal for riders to operate, mainly because the white on the lines where people would cross in the crosswalk are faded, so it would be very difficult for people to be able to make that cross for the crosswalk. So those are some of the issues related to Braille. However, Nice Bus has improved with its Braille system from last year at Hempstead Bus Terminal and at Mineola Bus Terminal. Both of those have showed signs of improvement. The addition of 45 new buses to the fixed route bus system has improved the functioning of the wheelchair lifts. Last year we did a survey that showed that 5.42%, that's again 5.42% of the buses were not working, and we saw this year, after surveying 300 buses, that it was brought down to 3.56 of the buses were not working. So that was an improvement from last year to this year. In addition, we saw that Nice Bus is adding 28 new Able Ride vans to its fleet, and because lateness of Able Ride is a regular problem, which some of our speakers will talk about, it's important that we're getting new buses. There's currently 95 buses on the fleet, so the addition of 28 new buses is definitely a good sign. So those are some of the highlights of the report. I'm going to speak again a little bit later about our recommendations. So again, the difference between requirements are something that Nice Bus is legally obligated to do, and recommendations are just recommended improvements that we like Nice Bus to make. So we're going to have...
I'm a member of the Women Bus Riders Union since its inception. I was introduced by Nita a couple years ago. Every day I take the bus to and from places, and I depend on them. I depend on the audio-vision now to make sure I get off the right stop. Now, half of the time, as Sonny said, at work, wherever it's might be. It's not just people who are really depend on the audio-visual now. It's also those who are not familiar with the area as I am. Depend on that. So please, we need to get all the audio-visual now back to 100%. Thank you.
I noticed the wheelchair section one does not work. The clock is not working at all. When I ask them, do they work? They don't say a word. And sometimes they'll do the wheelchair section right. Sometimes they won't.
See, like I said, it sounds terrible. But I think 57 now.
And it takes them all over. That's about it, really.
Thank you, Michael.
And the bus came, and the bus driver said this didn't work. He said there was another bus right behind him, and I had to wait a half an hour for another bus. So I was late getting to my appointment. When I take April Ride has been late 4 times, then they've been on time. And the bus, I got on the bus once, and the lift broke down. And I had to be
public transportation system that is accessible to all is one that is reliable to all, that functions with predictability for all, and where all riders can depend upon getting to their destination with minimal stress, discomfort, and worry. Uncertainty, unreliability, and unpredictability work for no one. To disabled riders, it is especially unfair to deny equal protection of the laws regarding accessibility. But in principle, in its broadest sense, accessibility applies to all riders. Thank you.
Avid bus rider. I ride 2 to 3 buses a day, and if any one of my buses are late, it delays my day significantly to the point where I will have to call in either an hour to an hour and a half late to work, or cancel meetings that I've made weeks in advance because I'm running an hour and a half late and there's no point in my person waiting for me. This constant tardiness of the bus system is a hindrance to my independence and my livelihood. Our research shows that the tardiness and unreliability of the fixed route system is also echoed in the able ride system. After speaking to a number of able ride users, it became very clear that me running late to work or canceling meetings are the same as able ride users having to miss doctor's appointments or cancel doctor's appointments because their bus came an hour or 2 hours late. After surveying one of our members for over a year, we found that able ride, out of all of his able ride buses, 13 times he was late to go somewhere, which was about 10% of his general able ride rides. The average late time for him was 32.4 minutes. Since able ride has a window of 30 minutes that they can pick you up, so let's say 12 o'clock to 12:30, these buses were arriving an hour and 2 minutes later than they should. So if he scheduled a bus for 12 o'clock, he wouldn't be picked up until 1:02. These are the kinds of issues that disabled riders are facing every day, not to mention that there are full areas of the northern and northeastern quadrants of Nassau County where able ride does not operate. We hope by releasing this report and releasing our findings, Veolia can work with the disabled riders and the disabled buses to identify the shortcomings and improve the systems for Nassau County, and can ultimately add more service to ensure that all of Nassau County's disabled riders have a bus system they can rely on. Thank you.
We're gonna hear from Yuki, Yuki Endo, and he's going to also share some of his experience on the buses.
My name is Yuki Endo, Jackson High Queens, bus riders union. Many times when I take the nice bus, I meet with the bus rider who are frustrated with the bus service. Yeah. My bus drivers are breaking ADA law for not letting a disabled wheelchair passenger on board a bus pass, and not opening up announcing or not making announcement. I have seen on the poster on the Suffolk County attended buses stating bus drivers are required to make major announcement about the state law. However, this is not a case for the nice bus, especially new bus drivers. I have seen female blind passengers with a service dog, which new bus driver refused to let her on board because they don't know the policy for the service dog. Nice bus really need to know there are disabled blind people who get on with assistant passengers or with a qualified service dog who depends on a nice bus service. Thank you.
Our legal requirements. So again, we recommend, the legal requirements are to regularly update Braille at Hempstead and Mineola, which Nice Bus has been doing, but also to add Braille to Nassau Community College, to Roosevelt Field, and to Jamaica bus terminals where Nice Bus is operating. We're also calling upon NICE to bring on board and off board audible and visual announcements up to at least 80% compliance by 2014. So again, when we release this report in 2014, we want to show that there's at least 80% compliance. We want to ensure that able ride buses pick up riders within their scheduled windows on a regular basis. We've heard from Angela Davis, who talks about how she regularly has buses that are late, and having buses that are regularly late. So something that really can impact a person's day. Our research showed, when we actually did the research for a year, we showed that 10% of the time, the Able Ride buses were late for one passenger, and they were late an average of 32 minutes. So that's a huge amount for buses to be late, and we cannot continue to have these kinds of late buses operate. Finally, even though there was a decrease in the wheelchair lifts wheelchair lifts braking, we still want all wheelchair lifts on buses to be tested before they leave the yard, and to take broken wheelchair lifts off the road once they break. If necessary, we can leave the buses on the road with a broken lift for a maximum of 3 days under current ADA laws. Finally, the recommendations that we have, one is to expand the window in which Able Ride reservations can be placed. Last year, the Able Ride reservations could be placed from 7:30 to 5 o'clock. They've been decreased again from 8:30 to 5 p.m. So we want that window to be increased from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's a recommendation. We also want to ensure that if an Able Ride bus is late in picking up a rider, that the rest of the rider's trip is then shortened so that they're not also late for their appointment. Third, we want regularly tested and repaired Able Ride buses to ensure that wheelchair lifts don't break, like Angela was talking about, and that they're capable of safely lifting riders. Finally, we want Able Ride service to be extended into northern and northeastern Nassau County to ensure that more disabled riders can access the bus system. Again, some of these recommendations are just suggested improvements that NICE Bus should make to this bus system, but there are also legal requirements. Again, these are legal requirements that NICE Bus needs to fulfill. Audible announcements, rail at bus terminals, and on-time pickups are legal requirements, and NICE needs to fulfill them. So we'll take at this point any questions that you might have for either me or for the members of the bus rider.
Have you heard back from the contractor or from Nassau County yet? Have you contacted them both or just one?
About
the recommendation.
So yesterday we did speak at at a hearing related to the county budget. I did mention this report will be coming out. I also mentioned some of the recommendations related to audible and visual announcements. So following this press conference and the release of the report, we will make sure that all of the legislators have a copy of the report, as well as NICE Bus officials. And we're hoping that once our legislators and once NICE Bus has a copy of the report, they will be able to make some of the legal requirements.
Right. Are you working with Biello at all, the company that runs NICE, or?
Veolia?
Yes.
Yes. So we've worked with Veolia. The person who operates NICE Bus, well, the vice president of Veolia is also the CEO of NICE Bus on Long Island. So we have made this recommendation. Unfortunately, one of the other pieces to highlight in the report is that the company Veolia also has some issues with audible and visual announcements in other countries. For example, the bus system and the rollout of their bus system in Hong Kong was that there were no audible and visual announcements. So that's something we highlight in the report because it's important when we see a trend happening with a company that we highlight that this is a trend, but it's diminishing, and they have to start taking audible and visual announcements seriously. The truth is that the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, is a law. It's not a choice. Veolia cannot choose when they decide to abide by the law. It's a legal requirement, and we hope that they are able to abide by it.
If some of you could stick around so I can get the spellings of your names.